down the right field line. Is he going to make another one?
Do it. Did he?
He got it again! You gotta be kidding me!
The same kid!
Oh my goodness!
I don't know if Zach Campbell was watching that game, but I'm sure if he was probably shedding some tears because that kid did something that we all wish that we could do. We go to a baseball game, and not only does he catch one baseball, but in the same at-bat, he's able to snag a second one. It was so entertaining that the right fielder, Jorge Soler, who was a star himself, he looked at the kid like, wow. That was really cool. So I want to go ahead and give him a quick round of applause. That's something that, honestly, I've never seen before. But without further ado, it's time to start talking baseball. What's going on, guys? It's Fuzzy. Welcome back to yet another Major League Baseball recap. We have a lot to talk about today, so make sure you guys watch all the way until the end. We have Garrett Cole making history. Aaron Judge is making history, so it's going to be a pretty exciting video. If you guys are going to any baseball games or now football games, use code Fuzzy to save $20 off because we're going to go ahead and start off the video with some walk-offs, and at the very end we're going to talk about this day in history, so make sure you guys watch that too. When Wil Myers was a rookie for the Tampa Bay Rays, he was supposed to be Mike Trout 2.0. He was pretty much Anakin Skywalker, and the rest of MLB was Obi-Wan Kenobi. Like, he was supposed to be the chosen one, but it didn't really pan out that way. He fell off after his first and second year, and then once he went to the Padres, it just hasn't really panned out. Yesterday though, he was able to clutch up with a walk-off, so I wanted to go ahead and show that, and hopefully Wil Myers, he's still young, he can turn it around. I'm hoping so, because, you know, Darth Vader, he still had some good in him. His son Luke was able to show that, so I don't mean to talk about Star Wars a lot, but yeah. Hopefully Wil Myers can end up like Darth Vader and end up being good. We have yet another walk-off to talk about, and I promise you guys there's not going to be any more Star Wars analogies for the rest of the video, but the Reds, my gosh, they have some absolute studs on their team. They have Eugenio Suarez, who's up to 44 home runs after hitting 2 yesterday, so he is right there in the mix. He's going for 50 home runs, which I called in a video a few days ago. Also, Michael Lorenzen, the pitcher, I don't think that we can call him that anymore. He is officially now a baseball player. He can hit, he can field, he can throw, he can run, he can pitch. This guy's a 5'2" athlete, so we need to put some respect on his name. Roll it.
His first time up.
Chuck and duck here. Fair ball on the second home run of the game. There goes the runner again. Another line drive. Base hit down the left field line. And walk it off, Michael Lorenzen.
2 games I want to talk about real quick because they both involve pitchers coming back from injury. The first one is going to be Sean Manaea, who threw a no-hitter last year. He was having an amazing 2018, but then he had a shoulder injury and had to get surgery. He was amazing yesterday in his debut. And also Tyler Glasnow, who was going to be an all-star this year, but ended up having some arm issues or some other issues. He was back throwing 100 miles an hour yesterday. Both of those teams got the dub yesterday. So the Rays and the A's, we all know that they are the top dogs in the American League wildcard. I'm going to go ahead and show that right now, but yeah, their pitchers, they were special yesterday.
And swing and a miss. Down and in. He gets started. And a high fastball, and that's a swing and a miss.
The 1-2 pitch on the way. Swung on and missed. 10 strikeouts for Manaea. Ties a career high.
And he did go. And a swing and a miss. 100.
There's a swing and a drive. Right field and deep. Gritchick going back. Turns around.
There's a shot. Well tagged deep left center. Baby's gone.
Austin Meadows has 4 home runs and 8 RBIs in his last 7 games. The dude is absolutely raking right now. I think he's hitting almost 500. Obviously, El Garcia hit that 460-foot home run. Now, one player that was able to beat that was Jose Abreu. He had a 462-foot home run yesterday. Jose Abreu is having a really good 2019 second half. So, again, I know the White Sox aren't a very good baseball team, but Jose Abreu, Tim Anderson, Yoan Moncada, they actually have some pretty good pieces. And if they can add some arms to their rotation, maybe aside from Lucas Giolito. Who is the other guy? I can't remember his name. He threw a 1-hit shutout against the Indians. I can't remember his name right now, but you guys can let me know in the comment section down below. What's his name? The pitcher for the White Sox. He just shut out the Indians. I can't remember.
Abreu swings, and a long one to left. Tagged, bagged, gone. 31 home runs. Turn on the fireworks. Sox lead 2-1.
Lifted right field side. Ryan Cordell at the line in the corner. He jumps against the net.
The one team that likes to talk a lot of smack in terms of their fan base is the New York Mets. So the entire second half, Mets fans have been chirping at the Phillies fans that the Phillies are a fourth place team. I hate to break it to you, but the Mets are in fourth place and the Phillies are now surging because they've won 2 games in a row against the Mets. So take it from me, I know that it's fun to talk a lot of smack, but when your team does not do well, you just look straight up dumb. So try and be a little bit more humble. And yeah, here we go. Mets, they lost yesterday.
Harper out of the lineup.
Easily hits it well out to left center field. On the run is Nimmo. It is
Come through here.
and a line drive base hit it to right center field.
Brewers against the Mets.
And a high.
Henry with 2 out.
A high fly ball to left field. Davis.
What is that?
Ball 4 that'll force it another run. Rodriguez will score.
So the Phillies are now 2 games back in the National League wild card. One other team that is going for a wild card spot, but in the American League, is the Cleveland Indians. I have been praying every single day that the Indians somewhat hit a stride with their offense and pitching at the same time. Luckily, we had Mike Clevenger on the mound against the Minnesota Twins. Mitch Garver did hit another home run, so he's now at the 29. But Carlos Santana, Francisco Lindor, and Mike Clevenger, they stepped up in a big way yesterday. They are now 2 games back in the wild card. I'm hoping that we can do it because 5.5 games back in the AL Central with like 20 games left. I'm not sure if that's possible, but Indians fans, we got to stick together. We got to believe.
Deal. There's a fly ball hit well, deep right center field. Puig racing back into the gap, makes the catch. That's trouble. Deep left center field. Mercado. Oh my goodness! And it's swung on.
Francisco Lindor.
Lindor crunches one.
So the Twins versus the Indians is a very important series that is happening, but one series that I think is even bigger is the Brewers versus the Cubs because they're both in the NL Central, and that wild card race in the National League is even crazier. So I'll go ahead and put it up right now because the Brewers were able to score a bunch of runs yesterday and take advantage of the Chicago Cubs because the Cubs, they've now lost Javier Baez and I don't even like to say his name, the shortstop or the second baseman for the Cubs. I'm not saying his name because he is not a very good guy. I just refuse to say his name. I'm sorry if that offends you, but yeah, the Cubs and the Brewers, these teams need every win that they can get because every win is going to matter. Every loss is going to be that much more to their team. So the Brewers, huge win yesterday.
Might try to lay down a bunt.
Bounced. Fair.
Zobrist, and he lines one down the right field line. Base hit.
And on Perez. Perez to right. That's a base hit.
Going to come off the bench and hit.
Swing and a drive into left center field. Schwarber is back.
He struck him out looking.
Corey Seager is not having the best 2019, but he is returning from injury, so I'm going to go ahead and cut him some slack because he was 3rd in MVP just a few years ago. He hit a home run yesterday as well as Matt Beaty as the Dodgers. They won pretty easy. I think their magic number is now 2 games. If they win 2 more games, they are going to secure a playoff spot, which, I mean, with almost 20 games left, that's a pretty big lead.
Bottom of the 4th. Beatty turns on it. The Dodgers take the lead on a Beatty 2-run shot. Fly ball center field. Back goes Pilar. That is gone. 2. Bouncing ball to Seager at short.
For the next couple games, they are going to be dominated by offense, but especially pitching because the next 4 pitchers, my gosh, they went absolutely off yesterday. Sandy Alcantara and Jack Flaherty, they were just crazy good yesterday. Alcantara had a complete game shutout. He was dominant. And also, Jack Flaherty, he has lowered his ERA in every single start for the last 2.5 months. He might be the best pitcher in baseball since the All-Star break with the sub-1 ERA. So first Sandy and then Jack Flaherty. I would not want to be a hitter going up against him at all for the rest of the season. He's dominant.
Ground ball left side. That's Castro. Spins and
77th. The 0-1 ground ball should end the inning. Diaz has it. Throws the first and the inning is over.
Here's a 2-2 pitch.
Oh, yeah.
Call strike 3.
Here's the 2-2. Swing and a miss. And the pitch is a call.
And Goldschmidt hits it in the gap in right center. And Wong on his way to 3rd. He'll be waved in.
Set for Flaherty and the pitch, and it's lined to the shortstop on one hop to Young. He's got it, and he throws him out. And well pitched, 8 innings.
So we just saw Sandy Alcantara and Jack Flaherty doing their things on the mound. 2 more guys that were just completely unhittable yesterday were Garrett Cole and Max Scherzer. But I'm going to talk about Max Scherzer later because Garrett Cole is making Major League Baseball history. Just a few days after Justin Verlander threw an absolute gem, Garrett Cole had his 3rd consecutive start with 15 plus strikeouts, which he tied Pedro Martinez. That's amazing company to be in. So when you have 3 consecutive games with 15 or more strikeouts, joining history, and he only gave up 1 hit, on top of that, the Astros scored like 20-something runs. There's just no way to beat them. And then after that, Max Scherzer, he did his thing. He was able to avoid the sweep from the Atlanta Braves as he dominated that lineup. So if you missed it, Garrett Cole and Max Scherzer, some of the best arms in all baseball, they were magical yesterday.
And he gets another one. 4 on the year.
2-2 at the knees on the outside for the Astros.
That's a called 3rd strike. 5th in a row. And he just sets a new career mark. 277 strikeouts on the 6th inning. Strikeout number 14. Batters. Called 3rd strike. 15 punch tickets.
Josh Donaldson swinging a shot, and Scherzer caught it. Look what I found. Max Scherzer with a terrific play to retire this. Here's Scherzer. Here's a hard line drive past the lunging Freeman and a fair ball down the right. The pitch is outside, and Max Scherzer slides into second with a stolen base.
4 ball games.
Swung on. Little looper popped up. Defoe going.
Aaron Judge and the New York Yankees made some history yesterday, but it wasn't Major League Baseball history. Well, it would have been if the Minnesota Twins did not have 275, almost 280 home runs. Yesterday, Aaron Judge hit the 268th home run for the New York Yankees of 2019, which would have beat their record that they set last year. But of course, the Twins, they're absolutely smashing baseballs this year. But Brett Gardner, Mike Tauchman, and Aaron Judge, they let their sticks do the talking.
1 out, 1 on for Gleyber. Tauchman sends the ball toward pesky.
Swung on. There it goes deep left field. That ball is high. It is far.
That home run by Aaron Judge, the Yankees' 3rd of the night, has just reset a franchise home run record.
Alright guys, so the final game left to recap from yesterday before we get into this day from history was the Rangers versus the Orioles game. Rougned Odor hit yet another home run, so maybe he heard me talking smack about him hitting under 200. I think he's actually above the Mendoza line, so good for him. Also, Nick Solak, he's been really good. I like him so far. He kind of reminds me of a young Ian Kinsler. He's not bad.
4-17. This one in the air left field, drops in, 2 out. And the payoff, this one shot through the right side, base hit. Trevino's in, 2 right behind him. Here's Monda Shields and Kiner Falefa. It's a full count. This one in the air center field. Pretty well struck. Hayes is back at the wall.
Guys, well, that is going to do it for the games from yesterday. Now we're going to go ahead and get into the this day from history because I love teaching you guys something, and these are just random facts that you guys can take to school with you. So if you guys want to be in the videos, always do research for the day ahead. But on September 9th of 1958, Roberto Clemente tied the record for 3 triples in 1 game. That was brought to you by our man Ari Sanchez. Next up, we have September 9th, 1969. The Orioles, they were facing off against another team. They were the first club to ever have 3 wins in 1 day, and then they had 2 wins the next day, so they're the only team to have 5 wins in 2 days. That was brought to you by DJ Josie YT. And then the last one is Stephen Palizzi. We have September 9th, 2009. I remember this as if it happened yesterday. Derek Jeter ties Lou Gehrig for the Yankees hit list, which was just, that's a accomplishment. When you're tying Lou Gehrig, you know you're doing something special. But that's going to do it for this day in history, as well as today's Major League Baseball recap. Again, if you're going to any sporting events, use code Fuzzy to save $20 off on SeatGeek, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.